Hey everybody, it's Nickens back with another recap video. I hope you're doing well, and it's so good to see you all again in another day, in another life of the Wiffle community. Thank you for the recent support on everything. I think it's, one, because I've been posting more, but two, I think Wiffle is just doing great right now, and it's so awesome to see your all support and to see the growth of the sport as a whole. So continue to hit that like, continue to hit that subscribe button, and yeah, let's just jump into this recap. So today I'm going to be talking about the Magic versus the Gators. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you go check that out in 3, 2, 1. So the Magic won the series 2-1, and every single game was a shutout actually, which was really interesting. The first game, Grant Miller pitched, and I think it was very clear from the get-go that Grant needed some time adjusting specifically for pitching. From the bat standpoint, I mean, it did take him a second, but for the most part, he could not get his aim down. For the good portion of it, it seemed like anything with a vertical drop, he was having trouble with. Either that was his screwball drop, or if it was his 12-6 drop, Jorgensen and Cheatham were all over it. Chadwick and Zerlag struggled from the plate, but for the most part, Cheatham and Jorgensen looked really good. They were able to just pick him apart from the get-go. 2 home runs each, which is really unheard of when you're thinking about individual performances. And Jorgensen, he looked really good. He pitched a no-hitter, 6 walks, 7 Ks, so had the walks up, but he was able to get out of jams and really do well. No one recorded a hit from the Magic in that first game. And it was just complete and utter domination. Jorgensen looked like he was fresh. He was ready to go. He was ready to play. And the rest of the bats looked really strong. I mean, kind of like a really nerve-wracking first game for the Magic. And so that's where my prediction from last week, I got a little worried. I was like, oh man, this could go really bad. And instead, I mean, RJ Walgate came in and absolutely delivered strikes. He had a one-hitter against the Gators. That one hit came from Jason Chadwick, so he got on the board. But man, he was able to just deliver great pitches, made the guy swing, got him out. He only had 5 Ks, which is not bad. And on the other side, Grant Miller showed the reason why he was drafted, got 2 hits against Jorgensen, was able to see him later. Jack also put in a hit, but Grant Miller had both had a couple RBIs in this game, and he looked really, really solid. RJ started to shine. You were starting to think, man, this team could look really good. On the other side, you were kind of worried for the Gators, honestly. I was like, ooh. After being so hot from the bat and then coming here, it may be a little tougher. Now, I will say, this can go both ways. So this is kind of a take that can go both ways. In one hand, RJ is not super familiar with MLW in terms of the game day setting, but I think he's been pitching and doing the same kinds of pitches for a 72 mile an hour, pitch limit along with 35.5 zone. I think he's really used to that kind of setting. He's been practicing, he's preparing for that, whereas Grant Miller hasn't. And the other side, the Gators have not seen RJ ever. He is in 2 divisions lower at tournaments, so there's no way he's going to be able to play. Or chooses to play. So, he's not playing in those upper divisions. So these guys have not seen him, and he is so tall and so huge that his arm slots are so much bigger than everybody else's. So not that, it's bad, but, you can't see what's coming, but the way that it comes out, the angle that it's coming out is so much different from the 5'10 guys that are coming out. Maybe sometimes you'll have one of the taller players pitching from those similar arm slots, but RJ's just massive body build, it does provide a little bit of advantage. He's throwing a little bit closer to the plate with his gait, and so because of that, man, he absolutely blew them out of the water in the first game, and then pitched another shutout in the second, and Grant Miller basically walked it off with a single home run. Brendan Jorgensen was the only guy to get a hit in the second game, and so RJ, again, 7 Ks, 0 walks, only gave up that 1 hit. So a one-hitter, absolutely amazing. Just played super consistent. And Chris Cheatham looked great from the bump, honestly. He didn't look bad at all, just gave up that one hit. So I think you're going to see kind of one of those things. It's like this. I think the reason is you're going to see more of Trevor Bonham and RJ. I think Grant may need some time. I would not expect him to see him next series because they play the Preds. Magic play the Preds next series. But I would expect him to see him later on in the year, maybe against the Cobras, maybe against the other NL opponent. But it seems like you're probably going to see Bonham and RJ. You didn't see Bonham this game simply because in the moment, Bonham has been seen a lot more by the other Illinois guys. So probably not a great decision on Jack's part to not start him in that second game when RJ is pitching so well. On the other side, the Gators can obviously hit. They just need to be more consistent in that. Getting 2 hits in the last 2 games is not going to be able to sustain over an MLW season. But it's good to see that the Magic already have their win total from last year, and the Gators already have a third of their win total from last year as well. So, that is promising that they're already starting off, better than last year for both of these teams. So, I expect to see some good stuff coming out of them. I expect to see some closer games. A fight for that 3 and 4 spot for both of these teams. And so it's good that they played each other. Good to get that fresh start going. It'll be interesting to see where it goes for next year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What did you guys think of the Magic game? I'm super high on RJ. I think this Magic team is going to go far. They look super consistent. I'm interested to see how AJ Ackerman does. I'm interested to see how AJ Ackerman does. I didn't see too much out of him, so I'm interested to see how he does in the future. He did get a few great contact, but wasn't able to necessarily bring it home in that third game. So I'm interested to see how he does. It's good to see Reese Harris out there, but kind of throwing him in that last spot, not a great spot. So interested to see how he does for the rest of the year. Let me add this in. Yeah, and RJ Walgate starting out like this kind of had shades of Dallas Allen, I feel like, in terms of like rookie, coming in pretty hot. I mean, already he started and he has a 0 ERA, and so that can be something that can really propel a team into the playoffs. You can kind of put yourself in position to be the front runners with performances like that. So we'll hopefully see more things like that from him. And RJ Walgate definitely stand out. Grant Miller, 375 average. That's really good. Gators need to bring their averages up. But overall, I think it was a really promising series from 2 really promising teams that you're looking forward to next year. Let's get into our preview for next week's game. That is the Diamondbacks versus the Pacific Predators. Both the last of these NLAL starting matchups for the year. And it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a very good game. Obviously, the D-backs, defending champions, Jimmy Norb, an absolute legend already. MVP, 2-time champ. First time it's been done in over 5 years. So it's a big deal. Could they do a three-peat? Pacific Predators coming off a year where they could have definitely won it, but lost to the Cobras in dramatic fashion. Was 1 out away from potentially being in those playoffs into the World Series. So, definitely a lot to play for them. Could we see this as the first game of the year being also the last game of the year? Wouldn't put it out of it. But you could say that with all these games. Most of these games, I'd say. You could say, man, I could see these teams playing again. So, what's going to happen? I predict that we see a 2-1 Preds win. I think the D-backs probably will come out a little flat like they did last year. Not because of Jimmy, but because of the other guys. They're still fitting in. I think this may be more of a game where Jimmy puts some new guys out there, tries to get them in, tests some things, takes some film, takes some time, and then picks people apart later. So I wouldn't expect to see the hand of Jimmy Norp or those guys. Probably more of a mind game for them, trying to make sure, okay, let's not show too much. Let's kind of get some other guys in. Let's see how this goes. Let's test some things out and take it in, and then wait till later to play some more of their NL divisional opponents and really kick it up a notch. So I see the Preds really coming out, having something to prove. The D-backs maybe, trying to test some things out, tweak some things. I think the big story is going to be of that game is who's going to pitch better out of Cratch versus Norp. Is Norp going to carry his team to a win, or is Kratch going to? And who's going to be able to pick that bat up for both teams is going to be interesting. Norp can obviously hit. Kratch can obviously hit. I think I trust the Preds bats more in this situation than I do the D-backs. However, I have seen the Preds defense be a little lackluster in the past versus the D-backs. So it's kind of a very even game, but I'm going to give the edge to the Preds this time. I know it's kind of crazy seeing as the D-backs defending champs, but I'm sticking with my gut on this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And yeah, let's move on to our final segment, which is our League of the Week. So today I'm going to spotlight a league that I've been following for a little while that I really enjoy. And these guys are from NWL. These are super fun guys. I've talked to them before. And I highly recommend that you check out their content. And these are just a few of the amazing pitches that you will see in this league. As you can tell, these guys are very young, but they have all the stuff to compete in MLW. And then I think it's really enjoyable because all these guys are super young. And in some channels, you can kind of see like they're either doing a little more slow pitch or maybe the pitching isn't as good. But with these guys, I mean, it is a battle every single time they step up to the bump. Just amazing to see this kind of high level pitching, and all these guys are just so young. And I think that's the huge thing. Love the pioneers in the NWL, but all these guys are super, super good. A lot of sidearm pitchers. And yeah, just some great action on the ball that you're always going to see. All the games are usually pretty close. Unfortunately, Caleb Mendler this past year was out. And he is usually a guy that is super consistent, another great pitcher. Jake Sullivan is also a guy to look out for. If you've seen already through about a minute, you've seen about half of his highlights. And they are super, super good. Also look out for guys like Griffin Rizzi, Gavin Nguyen, and Sean Olheim. All these guys, super fun to watch. I say I love the knuckleballers and the pioneers. I guess I'm partial because I've talked to those guys, but Sweats, always a good underdog for sure. So check these guys out. I mean, super fun to watch. Just look at this level of pitching. Great slider there. It may have been riser. I don't even know. I'm not awesome, but great two seam riser. I mean, these guys can pitch, and I think that's what's really fun about this league is that even though these are young, this is a league you can get into in New York. So super fun. Make sure you give these guys a shout out. Tell them that you came from my channel. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Let me know more leagues to spotlight in the future. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time.